Hello, everyone, and you're very welcome to our webinar on the recovery movement's definitions in different EU countries. Today, we have a wealth of knowledge and experience and people from the EU region who are going to be discussing their opinions, perspectives, and professional knowledge on this area. As we know, recovery is something that is very different and flexible and has different perspectives and insights from different areas. So I'm really looking forward to kicking off the discussion today. My name is Julieann Cullen, and I am the chairperson for the Europe region with the Global Mental Health Peer Network. I want to welcome you all today. I want to welcome all of our presenters, and I also want to thank the Global Mental Health Peer Network for giving us the opportunity to use this space to have these very important discussions on this area in relation to recovery in mental health. So firstly, to start off, I am going to introduce Živilė. She is sorry about this. So she is a medical doctor, cardiologist in particular, a single mother of 2 boys and leading coordinator of Fighting Mental Health Stigma campaign in Lithuania. So without further ado, I pass you over to Živilė.
Thank you, Julieann, for your kind introduction, to which I'd like to add that I also have personal experience of mental illness. And today I'm going to share my insights and perspective on what recovery from mental health condition really feels, means, and is. So I'm going to start sharing my presentation. Okay, here we go. So before we can discuss recovery, it's important to understand what mental illness is. According to American Psychiatric Association, it is a health condition which involves change in emotions, thinking, behavior, or combination of those, and it may or may not cause problems in social or personal life. Actually, the more I think about this definition, the more debatable it becomes, as it's completely normal to experience change in emotions, thinking, and behavior, and anyone can have problems in social, work, or personal life at times. And it's not an illness, it's just life. Which is more, it's often emphasized that mental issues is just a medical problem, just like any other disease, but is it really so? What distinguishes psychiatry from all other medical specialties is that there is no diagnostic test to confirm any of the illnesses that they are diagnosing. In 21st century, where we map DNA, perform multiple imaging testing, detect cancer in early stages, there still is no blood imaging or any other test to confirm or diagnose a psychiatric condition. Consequently, there is nothing medical about psychiatry itself. So what do we rely on? Since we do not have any test to confirm an illness nor to define it as gone, we rely just on some human opinion, which happens to be of a psychiatrist. And what do they say about their illnesses? You can treat them, control them, or achieve long-term remission. They virtually never use a term to recover, but often comfort the patients, telling that there's nothing to be ashamed of. But many people, including myself, will agree that the consequences of related diagnosis and stigma are much worse than mental condition and its symptoms, multiplied twice. So what happens to people when they get a psychiatric diagnosis? They start doubting their own sanity, abilities, lose trust in themselves, as well as lack support from environment, which is quite devastating and life-changing experience. If you get quite a severe diagnosis like psychosis or schizophrenia, along you might lose your driver's license, authorities might question your ability to raise your own kids, and you will never be allowed to adopt or become a foster parent. You will never get a gun to defend yourself in any case, and might even be subjected to forced treatment or forensic expertise. And actually, that is what makes people sick. So here we come to an essential question. Is recovery at all possible from psychiatric conditions? We all hope someday it will be something so straightforward as dealing with a mild cold. Unfortunately, these days it's not always the case. And let me remind you what psychiatrists say about mental illnesses. You can treat them, control them, or achieve long-term remission with a high likelihood of relapse at any time. So they make things seem and sound even more complicated and often keep the patients at fear. But in reality, things are not that bad and also not so straightforward. We hear many success stories how people recover, especially when people started speaking globally about their mental health and experiences in the psychiatric system. So actually, my advice is don't fight the diagnosis. It's meaningless. Just get your life back and move on, achieve your dreams, enjoy life, be happy, and that I call recovery. So actually, to back up what I've just said, I will briefly share my story, which brought me here to Global Mental Health Peer Network. So in the first picture is me in the year 2016. I was 32 years old, enthusiastic interventional cardiologist doing a PhD, publishing papers, attending international congresses, organizing workshops, conferences. I was really busy. And unfortunately, my mental health collapsed a month after delivery of my second child, which was born with congenital malformation. And I was submitted to forced in-hospital psychiatric treatment, which actually was the most devastating and traumatizing experience I could ever imagine. I was not allowed to see my children, neither breastfeed the baby. I was drugged and threatened with restraint if I refused to comply. In a few weeks, I gained kind of a stoned look and a zombie-like appearance due to severe side effects of the psychotrops. And of course, I was not getting or feeling any better, neither in weeks nor in months. And eventually, after 2 months, I decided that it was enough and I self-discharged from the hospital and discontinued the pills. So it was actually a near-death experience that only God knows how I survived. I felt humiliated, drained, exhausted, which you can probably see in the pic. And it took time to regain a human look. Now, of course, it's all history. And this is me 6 years later, with a story to tell and mental health stigma to deal with. I'm working as a doctor. I raise my own kids. I have driver's license and a car. I have goals and aims for the future and strong faith that it will never happen again. So actually my take-home messages from this short presentation is to keep in mind that complete and sustainable recovery from mental, even severe conditions can be achieved. And medical therapy and adverse drug effects may delay or prevent recovery at times. And if we change nothing, nothing will change. That's my main concept of recovery from mental illness. So thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to take any questions you have. I will stop sharing my screen.
Thank you so much for that fantastic presentation. It is, it's just so empowering seeing the journey that you've been through and the insights that you have. And I love if we change nothing, nothing will change. It's very powerful. So I have a couple of questions for you. What has helped most and least to recover?
Well, it's probably very easy to say what has helped least. That is definitely medication and in-hospital treatment, which both sums up to what contemporary psychiatry has to offer in Lithuania and probably many other European countries to people experiencing mental health crisis. And what helped, well, you may call it God, miracle time, or something else. But definitely, I think faith and lived experiences of other people who share their knowledge and experiences of failed psychiatric treatments helped the most.
Fantastic. That's really good. And so what would be your advice in how to speed up the recovery process?
Well, that's the question that honestly I don't have an answer to, but I will dare to say that, to my opinion, and from the books that I've read, the fastest way to recover from a mental health condition is actually to let it run its natural course with adequate support and, so to say, watchful waiting in a safe environment with minimal interference. Of course, interests of a person in crisis should always go first. Listen, be there. I might be wrong, but at least that's the help I wish I'd received, and I feel that would have helped in my case. As well, I would suggest to stay away from psychiatric drugs if it's possible, as there are definitely no reliable trials to show that psychiatric drugs are better than placebo for overall functioning and quality of life in many mental conditions. So sometimes you can get more damage than good from them. And the withdrawal is really, really tough.
And how do you project ideal psychiatry and medical health crisis in the future?
Well, contemporary psychiatry has definitely failed my trust and expectations multiple times, so I expect it definitely has to change. And first of all, the psychiatrists have to stop being drug dealers with apparent conflicts of interest with pharmaceutical companies and stop the false narrative about the effectiveness of inefficient medical treatments. They should either re-educate themselves into psychologists, psychotherapists, or get some other jobs. And of course, forced treatment should be banned overall, as it's totally inhuman and illegal. Ideally, mental health issues should be dealt with the help of psychologists and other caring professionals involving recovery mentors with lived experience and social workers, all the family members and close friends of the person who needs help. I think that would be the most effective support team ever.
It's kind of like a more holistic kind of
Yes.
person-centered. Great, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for your fantastic presentation and your discussion. If anybody has any questions for Živilė, we've got the questions and answer box that we are going to come to towards the end of this webinar. Thank you so much. So next we're going to present Yael. So she is an expert by lived experience, personally and professionally, as a body and mind therapist and a workshops facilitator. She has been in a healing process since she remembers herself, and for her, this is the deepest, most uncompromising and most instructive training that she undergoes. So with this deep connection to her own journey, she profoundly wishes to help others in their recovery journey. So I am going to ask a couple of questions, if that's okay, Yael. So what does the term recovery movement mean to you?
Hi, everybody. I'm very happy and excited to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. Movement of recovery for me means exactly as the word recover, movement. I see recovery as a journey and not as one specific destination that I can reach and said, okay, until I'm reaching this, it's not recovery, and from this point, it is this recovery. I see it like a long way, and on this way, we have waves. And waves mean that there are ups and downs, ups and downs. The way will not be linear. It's not like this. We will feel better for a period, and then maybe there will be a difficult time, and then again we will feel good. I can say that the term people with lived experience is really accurate. Now I am talking from a real live experience. Like this morning I had panic attacks, and I had I was so stressed and said to myself, oh, I have a webinar this evening, I will do it. And this is exactly the the life of recovery, to deal with real life and real events, and to find the strength and the power inside to deal with what happens to us. So it's to find the way to continue, even when I am on the bottom, to find a way how to go up again. When I'm excited, I'm losing my English.
It's okay.
Not my mother tongue. So for me, it's the movement, recovery. I like the word movement, and not a definitive definition or point or destination.
That's great. Thank you. And like, even in that, you're kind of talking about going up and going down and kind of moving, and it's definitely not going in one certain direction, and it's different for everyone.
I feel that to choose to choose to live, this is the what helps me in the most difficult moments, and this is the movement. When I am on the bottom of the most difficult moment, I'm telling myself, okay, I want to live, I want to live, I want to live, and this will give me the strength to do the thing I will say later on.
And so, like, with that, you like the way of thinking of I want to live. Do you think that there is a connection between the way one thinks and the way one feels in recovery?
Yes, I see there is a problem with my camera. I'm sorry.
Oh, we can still see you. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Okay. Yes, I do. I find with my experience that on the difficult moments, I'm sometimes very angry. I'm sometimes very discouraged. I'm sometimes frustrated. I have a lot of not pleasant and even hard feelings. And I'm angry at life, angry at God, whatever. and I found that when I'm learning to accept, radical acceptance, the reality, this is what will help me to move, to do the first step. And when I'm saying radical acceptance, it's not just like nice words. It's really an internal work. And I'm talking about accept the reality outside of me, like the facts of the reality that doesn't depend on me. I didn't choose my mental illness or whatever happened to me. So I want to learn to accept that, but I will be able to accept it only when I accept my internal reality, my internal world. And that means that if I'm sad, if I'm discouraged, if I'm angry, I will learn to go through all these experiences and to feel it, and only when I'm able to accept and feel everything inside me, I will be able to really accept my condition. So when I accept, I'm open to help myself. Before I accept, I am in a resistance mode. And when I'm in a resistance mode, I won't do anything. I will just say, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. Why did it happen to me? Why for me? Why not for others? And only when I was giving space to all the difficulties inside me, then I'm open to do steps that will help me. And there are a lot of.
So speaking of that, what can be done to gain strength during difficult moments? Like, how can one maintain resilience and strength and a spirit of hope and faith so that one can continue to climb the mountain and take actions to face the challenge
Yes.
and maybe even create a change in it?
So I will separate it to two kinds of things. The first is hope and faith, and the second is practical actions that I will do. And hope, at difficult moment, we don't always feel hope. It's not something like automatic. Sometimes we will lose hope and we will want to gain it again. And I learned from in Qigong, I'm exercising Qigong, and in Qigong we say, put a little smile on your face, just a little. I don't have to say, oh, I'm so happy. It's enough. When I really feel bad, I'm exercising to just do that. The tiniest movement I can do, if we're talking about movement. So I want to really move my body, not only my thoughts and mental world. I want to really use my physical body to find a new space of hope. So when I'm just doing that, really a small smile, something is opening inside. It's really magic. It's like a miracle, and it will connect me to the in-heart, we say that, to the building hope we have inside, because hope is not something we have to invent. It is something that is part of us. It is built in. We are born with it because we are part of the universe. But when we feel bad, we lose contact with the hope. So I want to connect again, and this little movement is enough to make the first connection. Then I will remind myself that I am here, like the universe, God, existence, life is here to help me, and also I am here to help myself. I will do everything. It's like a promise that I give myself in a hard moment. I'm sometimes going in front of the mirror, I'm looking at myself, and I'm telling myself, Yael, I will never leave you. I will do everything for you. I want to cry when I say that. And I think it is very important, because when we are here for ourselves, then the world and the surroundings, like friends or family or other angels, will appear, because it's like an announcement. I'm here for me, and I want to live, and I want to feel good. Then help will come. So after like I have hope and I know that I'm here for myself, then I can try to do practical actions to help myself. It can be sometimes to take a good shower and to put earrings and to like not to stay with pajama all the day. That's what I did today. I felt so bad in the morning, and then I stayed with pajama for a few hours, and then I said, no, I want to be nice. I want to feel good. I will put on clothes as if I'm going to a party, like to meet somebody, to a restaurant, to a cafe. And immediately it's my energy is better. So it can be really small things. I here in my house, in my home, to put music. Then it will give me strength and more energy, and I will have the power to maybe to call someone to help me, maybe to listen to a podcast, to read an article. The more I'm doing things for myself, the more I will have energy to do more. It's like a feedback that will it will nourish me. Like when I took a shower, then I put my earring, I put music, I add more power. I could call my friend and then another one, and then I talk to my mother. So it's like that. It will nourish us and we will have more power. And after that, I'm usually, my first aid exercise is the breathing. And this is what I use the most with my patients also in the clinic. So breathing exercises, if we will have time at the end, I will teach you one.
Well, yeah, definitely up for that. That's amazing. So like you, like just like Živilė, like the theme that we're really seeing is that you can't do anything while doing nothing. Like it's kind of a continuous thing that like, and it's very much from ourselves, like to like, so for you, you know that you're not going to feel as good if you're in your pajamas and then putting your earrings on and like dressing like really nice. And there's so much power in what you were talking about with acceptance. Like I I don't like the idea of what I thought acceptance to be, but you are after reframing it in a way that I'm like, oh, actually, this is something, there's something there. And I love that I am here for me and to choose to live. It's absolutely fantastic. So looking forward to that breathing part at the end. And what we might do is, if you have any questions for Yael, you can pop it in the question box and we can come back to them later. And thank you so much for speaking to us and sharing your experience. It was so helpful. So next, I'm going to present Christopher, who is a peer worker who is working with Participatory Coordination and Counselling Centre Association in Loch Lieben Owen Krakenhouse. Fine. So I'm really sorry for the pronunciation. And peer psychoeducation group, Floridsdorf Clinic in Vienna. He also works in the area of research through courses in scientist, SPUR, with the University for Continuing Education, Krems, is a project partner for the steering group with the Medical University of Vienna. He also teaches a number of disciplines, including nursing, medical students, social work, and in universities in Austria, and raises awareness in second level schools. He is also involved in IDEE Austria, a nationwide independent funded advocacy group for people with mental disabilities. So I know that your time is really busy, and I really, really appreciate you being here. And I'm going to pass it over to you now so you can share your presentation.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for introducing. I hope you hear me good. Today, I just want to talk about three themes. Not individual, just more information on what's going on in Austria, just about the history of the advocacy from the groups I founded, also the peer work and the Sigma, and how the projects in Austria are actually now doing. For example, here you see when there are different organizations are established as 40 years ago. You see the Exit Social, maybe you see my mouse cursor, maybe, or not? It's here, and this is it's whole Austria, and this is here the Upper Austria, 1981, and then later in 1997, it's the association called in English Free Rooms. But this I want to pick out, because this was a triological organization or association with professionals, relatives, and people with lived experience. No separate, just people with lived experience advocacy. And you see later in the 90s and the beginning of the 2000s, the most of the groups were founded. And there was in the year 2017, I don't put it here on the screen, there was building the networking platform for experts with personal experience of mental health. Because in the year of 2011, we defined health targets in Austria, and 2013 they funded a group and say what we have to do for the mental health in the next 20 years. And one point was we have to put together the groups who represents the interests of person with mental health illness. And so this group also get funded from the government. And so this was the base that the group DVDII Austria could found it as a nationwide group, because 20 years before, there was some countries like the Lower Austria and Styria and also Vienna. They also want to come together and want to form like a national-wide group, but they don't came together. And with this possibility of this group where all people came in, we are meeting 2 times a year. We came to the point to say, yes, it's okay. We all want to have a national-wide group. You can see on the link and read just in German, but you can translate if you want to. There's also could order if you want to a brochure, information box of this. I want to go to the second part about to the peer work, and it's an actual numbers, how many people work in which places, and how much they get, how much salary they get. And you see here there are 2 countries in Austria, Burgenland and Carinthia, Kärnten. They have no peer workers, and in Salzburg there are also just 1 in a stationary, and they get salary. I don't have this detailed information today, because for a presentation this detailed information in this short time couldn't do it. This 1 person stationary gets money, but the other 10, they just get parking money. And I want to just maybe in other countries like Germany, most people, they don't work just for 5 hours and not more. And in other countries, peer workers don't get money. So maybe I want to show you what we got for the work. But in the future, we want to try to get more money and to get an act for peer working, because we don't have the possibilities to had a definition of the peer work for working in the stationary outpatient. There are just some of help constructions, so we could work we have to go to the next level to do an act for the peer work. And we're also in contact with the Ministry of Health and Social for this next step. In this point, what we need for training, we're discussing what kind of training we need for peer work. I just picked this three out. Also nowadays in Austria, you could join in Austria, and you see this one Social Professional Act from the year 2006. It's a long time ago, and we are really proud because it's just one country. I think we look about in the whole Europe that's in a peer personnel training, a peer work training is an act, but we want not in one country in Austria, not in the Upper Austria, we want it in the whole Austria, and a little bit in a different way. And also we have the experience involvement training. Maybe you know it from the Leonardo da Vinci project from 2006. And in Austria is established in 2013. And also there is academic peer advisor on the University of Applied Science. And this last one, you're in the university, but you don't have to have you just have to need the experience, and it's also for the three groups of disabilities. For my last theme, I want just to talk about a little bit about this wide open topic. And there is also established a group of the competence group of stigmatization. It also came from the same health targets from 2011. But it needed a little bit longer for establishment than the other group. And we're really proud of it because last year they talk about the WHO that when you have to do an anti-stigma plan in a country, you have to do the mental health in all policies approach. And we started in 2018 with this approach. I'm still in this group from the beginning on, and you see it's intersectoral, interdisciplinary, and multi-perspective, and with the central involvement of people who have lived experienced and the relatives. And also you could see here the link to this group, and yet a short time for the presentation, I put another link in. It's in English, the National Action Plan. It's in an English version, and the group competence group of destigmatization is also a part in the National Action Plan from the CRPD. So it works still together, and it's good that there's a relation to these themes. Yes, when you look on the page I've linked, you could read a lot of things, what activities in Austria are going or still. In 2019, we're just actualizing this, but we're don't publishing this. And now the last 4 years, we do some recommendation on four levels. just maybe to show you the structural stigmatization, the direct stigmatization, and the self-stigmatization, the cultural stigmatization, and just to see what is the difference for maybe then like an actual type of levels from the Lancet Commission. We don't have this topic public stigma, and the stigma by association is like in Austria the direct stigmatization. But we have the cultural stigmatization and there's a part of art and culture that another concept's not really there, and the trilogical approach that we want to do this not only with professionals and people with lived experience. We also do this with the relatives and friends together, especially I want to jump a little bit back, and especially for the direct stigmatization, when we have for sensibilization trainings for the health and social professionals, children, young people, and so on. And this is a good it's a good lived practical we do in Austria, but it's not in a plan, in a curriculum. This is also the next step to get it in a regular way. Yes, and in 2024, now we start the last week. We start the multi-strategic approach to reduce stigmatization and discrimination. And in 2024, we are finished with this, and then we see what we're gonna do to see what are the quick wins or the low-hanging fruits, and what are the points to get would need a longer time. Maybe could be possible the next time, in the next weeks or months, that Austria gets a better healthcare system. But I could tell you about special about this more. But we hope that something great will change in Austria, like in the Czech Republic or in other countries, or in England, that the topic or the theme of stigma a little bit in the focus of the politicians. Yes. Thank you. Thanks for.
Thank you so much, Christopher. That is I'm a bit jealous now of how far your work is. Like in Ireland in particular, we are not where you are, and I love the specific focus that Austria have on stigma raising and awareness. It's so good to know where other people are at, because you can often just be in your own silo, in your own area, and you kind of think that so that like the links you've shared and stuff are going to be really, really good with kind of giving other people ideas and senses where your country is at it as a whole. So thank you so much. So we have now concluded our presenting part and our discussions. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the questions and answers part, and I'm going to just read some of the comments first, and then we might open up the floor to any questions that anyone might have for any of the presenters. So we have, okay, so Sandra has thanked Živilė for your experiences, support is imperative. Sandra has said, I love that, Yael. Acceptance is key, and recognizing that our condition is part of us and not all of us. And Tanya has said, I am the same. A day with earrings is always a better one. I completely agree. The importance of accepting help and validation from others and the universe. Claire said, I like the idea that hope is internal and can activate it, and you can activate it. Sandra said, fantastic presentation, Yael. Thank you so much. Zach has posted a Facebook message saying, wonderful webinar this, comes in most perfect timing too. Thank you. And there has been a question that has come in as a private message. So this is to all of our presenters. Are there initiatives or strategies that have been implemented in EU countries to reduce the stigma associated with recovery, whether it's related to mental health, addiction, or other challenges?
So I can probably start.
Mm-hmm. Go on ahead.
Okay, so in Lithuania, we're quite glad to have a big project which resembles Time to Change that was held in England 15 years ago, and now it's in Lithuania. It's called Žvelk giliau, like look deeper, and it's actually aimed to address the stigma in the society related to mental health conditions. People start talking and becoming ambassadors in their societies, sharing their mental health experiences, and especially experiencing the stigma and the forms of stigma in society, to make people accept them more and be more tolerant to these experiences and things that happen in life. And those people are not so socially isolated anymore, and we can actually start talking about it openly. So I'm really glad to have this initiative, which is quite new. It's been only a year since it started, full power, and we are so much looking forward to the results, and we really hope they would be, if not the same, then at least better than in the UK.
Great. That sounds like a fantastic initiative. Really good. Christopher, Yael, do you have anything you'd like to add?
We have some projects that will invite society to have open conversations with people with lived experience and different mental issues. Now everything is on hold because we have in the country a situation that demands us to put everything aside, but all these projects are in preparation because we see the importance of this issue and to help people with mental illness feel that they are appreciated as everybody else. Because if I have a mental issue, illness, difficulty, doesn't mean that I have less value. Doesn't mean that I am not that I don't understand things, that I don't have what to give to the society. And stigma is a big problem, and we want to make a change.
Thank you so much. And Christopher, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
Yes, I told a little bit before, but the one thing I think it's the most important thing to get a connection to the young people going to school.
Mm-hmm.
It's better from the 12 to 13 years old, because therefore it's just the educational way it's better, and after this the contact with the people, because they're able to learn more with the contact. And I think had a really big impact, because I also do this in the classrooms, and so different types of information in the classrooms. Some people know a lot of mental health, and other people don't know something about it. And this is the question: have we talked about mental health, or have we just do the base to have a good life? Have to do the father and the mother, or the parents, the role to learn what is mental health. It's a quite big topic. I don't know. But this is one project. It's good, and it's growing in Austria, and also with the other health sector professional groups, because when you get a mental health problem, you stay in contact with psychotherapists, with doctors, maybe with psychiatrists. And if they don't know how to get in touch with you, you don't want to go there. And we're starting in this, yes, but we don't have the real big try. But in the next 10 years, maybe.
We've got time. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. So coming back to our questions. So Fiona, in Ireland, we have reservations on Articles 12 and 14 of UNCRPD, particularly related to psychosocial and mental health disabilities. Article 12 is legal capacity, and Article 14 is deprivation of liberty. Sandra has said, peer work and support is so important to recovery. Thank you for sharing your work with this, Christopher. There are large gaps globally when it comes to peer work. Absolutely. And Claire, so Christopher mentioned including relatives in anti-stigma and recovery efforts. How important do the panelists think that this is?
Could you say me the panelists, maybe to translate? I don't know this word in.
Oh, yeah, the presenters.
The presenters.
Yes, so yourselves. So how important do you think it is for relatives to be included?
This panel, we are okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't. I have to start, or it's
whoever wants to go.
Yeah, because it's when you go to a university and to teach this trilateral way, because the students see the perspectives of these three sides, and they could put more information and could ask more perspectives, and they get a whole image of the system, and what maybe we need, and what I have to learn, and what I could maybe get changed in my own way, or in the institution when I work in the future in the institution. And we think from the experience with this teaching, that this is the best way. Yeah.
Fantastic. Živilė?
Yes, thank you. Personally, I've already mentioned as well that it's very important to include the relatives and close friends into the recovery process, because people who know that patient or person in crisis best, they know how to help, and usually that person lets them approach him quite closely. And it's always better to rely and trust people you know than just people who come. So in recovery, definitely it should be all family members included, including also friends, sometimes even co-workers if possible. And regarding anti-stigma campaign as well, as we have noticed ourselves in Lithuania during our project Žvelk Giliau, some of the relatives, they actually do really good job fighting the stigma, sharing their experiences from the side, how they see the mental crisis or mental illness and what they experience. And it actually reduces the stigma so much, because sometimes a person experiencing things himself or herself, they're quite shy to start talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
And the more people start talking, the less the stigma becomes. So if everybody who has a relative or a friend who had mental illness would start sharing their experiences, it would be probably everybody had this in their lives at some point, a friend, coworker, a relative. And this is really efficient way, I think, to reduce the stigma as well.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Thank you. And Yael?
I want to add to what Živilė said, that I do agree that family, close friends, family, if we are in a good communication, but it is the natural way of being and living. We're not supposed to be alone. The nature is to be together. And when I want to heal, when I want to go through a healthy life, I want to find my close people, friends, family, etc. Staying alone will not help me to recover. So it is really important to find relatives that will support me in my recovery way. We see it also with animals. Animals are not alone; they're always together. So also us as a human being, we want to be together. When we are together, we are stronger.
Very, very good. Thank you so much. And so Claire has just added in, including relatives helps stigma by association too. Thank you to the presenters. Jacqueline, you have your hand up?
Yes, good morning. Where I am, it's good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, sorry I came in late because I've been struggling to connect and the time is different. So I was on my way to work and I found the topic already on the way. Yeah, so where I am, I'm a caseworker, and most of the people I receive are those undergoing mental health challenges, especially due to drug use, a lot of stress, and so many other reasons. So I've seen us as workers, when we give these people a sense of security, it creates in them trust. And once it creates in them trust, it also makes them make better decisions. For example, when I was just new at my job, I had spent like 1 month. So someone came and I didn't know that he was mentally disturbed. So when he came to me, he was asking for something and it was not there. So when I told him that it was not there, then he beat up my desk and scared the hell out of me. So but the good thing is that I remained calm and I remained looking at him straight, and then he calmed himself down. And the worst thing is that he first closed the door and then started hitting my table. So I knew he was going to hit me. But the reaction I showed to him made him calm down. Yes. And after he went out. But of course, after getting out and he disappeared, that is when how scared I was came out. I had to run to another office for support myself. Because myself, I also went through depression from 2012 to 2016. I was on medication for mental health, but then I thank God that after 2016, I stopped taking the medication myself because it had started deleting my memory. And I kept telling my doctors and my lecturers, by then I was at campus, They used to see the reactions I have in class, and they were an international activist. So they had seen all the good things I was doing. And then when they saw the kind of reaction I was beginning to have in class, they were concerned. So my family and my culture, once you get that problem of mental health, they start calling you names, they start associating you, and they will put you in a certain category where you will never come out. Every time you make a mistake, they will keep referring to that same thing that for you, after all, your memory is away, so you're not yourself. So they keep referring to that. So I tried as much as possible for them not to know what I was going through. Yeah, and so I was being supported by my doctors and by my lecturers, because they're the ones who understood what I was going through, and they kept referring me to each other until I reached a point where I recovered. So even right now, when I reached here, right now I'm in Canada, but when I reached here, I still underwent through mental health assessment, and I'm now working with a psychotherapist to make sure that I completely come out of that childhood trauma that had caused me all that I went through. And then I was also raped at the age of 15 and contracted HIV. I'm a stepchild who was rejected by the whole family. I started living on the street when I was 19, and was on medication, which was being paid for by then, because I started taking medicine in 2004. By then it was still being bought, and my family refused to buy my medicine. They refused to pay my school fees, yet I really wanted to study. So all of that, I went through so much, which I may not say here, but it ended up causing me depression. So when it caused me depression, that is how I ended up in this category. Yeah, so I'm thinking that if we continue supporting these people positively, not looking at them and referring to them as mad people, because that is one of the things I'm scared of.
Yeah.
I was scared of people at home calling me a mad person. Anytime you bring an idea, they will be like, that one is already mad, even if she doesn't know what she's talking about. Even when something is positive, they will not take you serious from my culture. Yeah, so for me, that is what I think we can do together at the workplace, at the family level, at the society where we live. That is what I think we can do.
That's fantastic, and thank you so much for sharing your experience and your perspectives on that. It's really very much appreciated.
Thank you very much.
And we also have the recording for the rest of the webinar for the parts that you've missed. And thank you for sticking to it and joining us later on. We're coming up to time now. We're a couple of minutes over. So I want to thank everybody for your input and for your questions and for the discussions that we've had. We could speak about this for days and days and days. I can only speak for myself. I've taken a lot from the presenters sharing their experiences in so many different ways, and I really appreciate the time that you have taken to come today and to be sharing your experience. It's never an easy thing to do, and it shows really the side of mental health that is fantastic, that we're actually in this together, that we're using the words like hope and movement, and continuing to look at ways that we are going to help and improve ourselves in whatever that it is that we want to do. So thank you so much for everybody for being here today, and you are have a great rest of your day, and we hope to see you all soon. Thank you so much.